The mellow vibe. Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Folks Talking Sports. I saw my man, brother Willy Gibson there. Salute to my brothers. They got the cups in hand, but they don't have one of these, which they have to
No,
get
not
one
yet.
of these.
Not yet.
But yes.
Oh, Willy Gibson looks like a he looks like a football head coach there for a second.
Yeah.
Houston
I'm sponsored
Roundball
by
Review.
Jimmy's Donuts.
Houston Roundball Review merch. One side got the logo, other side references the media group, Houston Roundball Review media group, and the shows. One day I got to get that zoomed in. There you go, right there. At Max Corner, Folks Talking Sports. Looks like Houston Rockets and more. Get yours, folks. So, yep, salute. I am KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, Global Perspective. Joining me is Andy Yanez from Pod Slamma Jamma and Willy Gibson from WTG Sports. Fellas, how are you this Sunday evening?
All is well. How about you, gentlemen?
Definitely good. Definitely good.
I hope y'all saw the news and the discussion that's been going around H-Town. We're going to talk about it right now. My colleague, connected colleague, Marc Stein, NBA beat writer, in his daily dime of his Stein newsletter. Today, a few hours ago, one of his tidbits, one of his 10 items of info for the readers, referenced the possibility of the Rockets entertaining, considering, thinking, contemplating signing Kyrie Irving if they don't get James Harden. What say you, Willy Gibson?
With all due respect, and my Mark Jackson voice, I love Marc Stein. I'm not poo-pooing his stories. I'm not, but that just doesn't make sense. James Harden doesn't make sense. Kyrie Irving makes less sense than that. So, no. I mean, Kyrie is trying to drive the price up to get to LA. So he's throwing whatever it takes he thinks is going to take for him to get Rob Pelinka to do whatever it takes to get him to LA. So, Houston, why would he go to Houston? Again, why would James Harden go to Houston? Let alone, why would Kyrie Irving? Again, Houston is up and coming. They're coming. They're a work in progress. But these are established all-stars. In Kyrie's case, a world champion in the past. What would it benefit him going to Houston?
Money.
What money?
And lots of it.
Chris.
Andy, go ahead and give your thoughts on it.
I absolutely agree with Will. The reality of the situation is that I don't know where that report came from, who told him that, what kind of speculation it was, but
he said league sources. League sources told him that.
League sources could very well be agents. They could very well be who knows who it is. But I will say this: it like Will said, it makes no sense. Kyrie Irving's not going to be a Houston Rocket. I can go ahead and guarantee that he will not be a Houston Rocket come fall 2023. Guaranteed, Chris. I know it's not that going down on a limb.
All right, keep going. How strong is the guarantee? You want it again? You want it again?
Yep.
Get it again.
Give it for me.
Guarantee. All right.
It's Willy not going to happen. It makes no sense. And here's why it makes no sense. Like Will said, what's the tie? What's the connection? You think Kyrie Irving's going to choose the Rockets over the Los Angeles Lakers, over the Dallas Mavericks? It's not going to happen. There's no chance. There's a better chance for me to be on the Rockets roster than Kyrie Irving, and I have zero chance. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Okay. Y'all are talking logically, of course. No question. But was it logic involved with James Harden seeking a max for this coming season, for his next contract? A multi-year deal at max money? Is that logical?
But I thought it was a slam dunk for him going to Houston. Now it's the contingency plan. So what happened to James Harden? What happened?
Well, James Harden is, I mean, we could say James Harden is a drama dude himself as well. You know.
Right. So it's 3 weeks before what? 3 weeks before free agency.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's almost like the NFL draft. It's lion season.
Oh, well, no question.
Yeah,
no question.
So, no.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep pushing the envelope here because I got y'all fired up speaking from your chest. I'm going to get Mr. Tran to comment on it some more. Also here on YouTube and Twitter. And, of course, Twitter, we are at Folks Talk Sports on Twitter for this show. Kyrie wants money. Most likely, the Lakers are not going to trade for Kyrie. None of that's not going to happen. The Mavericks don't want to have a second summer of losing a guard, a key cog, offensive weapon, like they did with Mr. Brunson last summer. So they're going to throw a lot of money at Kyrie. But what if? I mean, we're talking about a dude who walks to his own orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just his own drummer, his own orchestra. What if his people say, we want guaranteed Dallas? I don't know if they can do it 4 or 5 years. Mavs own his rights. So if it's 5 years, what if he said, we want 5 years guaranteed, max money? And Mark Cuban says, and Nico say, hell no, we're not giving you 5 years guaranteed. Hell no. And then Kyrie's people say, all right, we out. And they hear James Harden staying in Philly. Tillman loves shiny things, superstars, selling tickets, spending money, Andy, sometimes foolishly, as Cougar people can attest. And Tillman says, oh, lost James. I'm not losing Kyrie. How much does he want? 4 years, 200. Here it is. And even though Coach Udoka, Rafael, Stone, everybody else, Tillman, don't do it, Tillman. No, don't. It's my team. This is my team. It's my money. I'm the owner, right? Right. I want Kyrie Irving. What if that happens?
Kyrie's not going to
see that scenario happening now. Most definitely. I just there's not a scenario in my mind where I see Kyrie Irving settling to go to Houston. It's not happening. No chance.
Is it settling if it's 4 years, $200 million?
They can't give me 4 years. Go ahead.
Well, whatever the max is, whatever it is, if they give him that, whatever it is.
They can give me, I think it's what? Quick math in my head. It starts at 31.
160, whatever it is.
Whatever
it is, whatever the max is.
If the money's equal, you telling me he's going to Houston over LA?
Lakers can't give him max money unless they get rid of Austin Reaves. They're not getting rid of Austin Reaves.
They don't have to get rid of Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves is a restricted free agent.
But they can't think. Well, so he's going to free up a lot of cap room to bring in Kyrie Irving. So I mean, D'Lo's gone, and other dudes are gone.
D'Lo's gone regardless.
Well, I think so there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So if money's equal, he's going to Houston over LA. If money's equal, he's going to Houston over, I don't know, whatever team you want to put in.
Miami. Miami's going to have some spending money after this offseason. There's going to be much more teams besides the Rockets that would be willing to give him a max, and Houston's not going to be at the top of the list.
No.
All right. Y'all say this. You know, Joe Mendez says it would be bad business for the Rockets. Well, Rocket fans said it last night on Let's Talk Houston Rockets, because I'm trying to prepare Rocket fans for Tillman ignoring his people, ignoring Rafael, ignoring Coach Udoka, and giving James Harden max money. Okay? I'm trying to prepare them for that possibility. Because he wants to sell tickets. He wants to win. He wants to win now. That'd be bad business. Andy, you said it from your chest on the last show or 2 shows ago, whatever, about Tillman spending money for Dana Holgerson. Different sport. Different organization. But if Tillman says, I want James Harden, I'm trusting my gut. I want James. James wants the max. I'm going to give James a max. Then what? And he's not worth the max. We all see it. We saw in the playoffs. The older he gets, the less like he can do it. but this is Tillman Fertitta. He's going to say, I did not become a billionaire by listening to everybody. Sometimes you got to trust your gut. He said that. He's written book articles about that, trusting your gut. If his gut says this, then what? Rocket fans, Joe, Mr. Trent Wise, what say y'all?
The only thing worse than I don't even think it's worse. It's just about a fit. I don't possibly see how Kyrie Irving with the Rockets would work even a month into the season, 2 months, 3 months into the season. I just can't wrap my head around it. There's no way that can coexist in my mind. But the only thing worse than that would be giving James Harden a max contract extension, which I know you brought up the Hogerson situation that happened a few years ago. It's not apples to oranges. It's very different. And I don't think if he's in a room, if he's the only one in the room saying that we'll give James Harden the max, I don't think it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're setting up your franchise for failure, and I think Tillman Fertitta knows that. I don't think he would do that. And if no one else is giving James Harden a max, why would you give him a max? It makes no sense.
Willie?
Yeah, again, it's what Andy said. It doesn't. The James Harden piece, I can see making more sense to Kyrie, but even that doesn't make sense. So, who was the point guard last year for the Rockets? Porter, right?
KPJ, yes. Scoot.
Right. So, you sign him, and I know it's largely incentive based. I know it's a lot year by year, essentially. So, he's making what, 25?
Oh, 20? No. After this year, everything else is not guaranteed. So, yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. So
it's like 15. It's like 15.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 15. Okay. So, yes, you signed Ime Udoka as your head coach. Yes, you have $60 million in cap space. So, just because you have it doesn't mean you need to spend it. And if you want to spend it,
they got to spend 45 of it.
You got to spend 45 of it, but spend 45 of it on pieces that are going to mesh. Kyrie is not coming. If Kyrie comes there, it's strictly for the bag. And do you want that? Is that what you want around?
Oh, heck
Jalen
no.
Green and Christopher and Jabari Smith and Sengun? Is that what you want?
Not at all.
Right. So,
but Tillman loves shiny things. Tillman loves to sell tickets.
And again, I think if it's all things being equal, somebody else is giving equal money that Houston would be able to offer. He's not going to Houston. He's not. He'll stay in Dallas for the Supermax before he goes to Houston for less than that part.
I think that's where he's going to stay. I think he's going to stay in Dallas.
Yeah. So,
but this has been reported, not just Jake Fisher, others. Part of the coaching interview process, they asked the candidates about James Harden. So that's an indication right there, right? That if Coach Udoka was asked that in the interview process, some Rocket fans are saying, well, Coach Udoka doesn't want James. Couldn't work with James. Well, if he was asked about it in the interview process, he's okay with it. It was discussed about the possibility of him coaching James Harden. So, hey, James at a max, no. That this a mistake. 4-year deal, no. If they want to sign James 2 years, okay, I'm okay with that. But beyond that, no. Just hang up the phone.
So hold up. I'm about to take the conversation somewhere way different. So you said it was discussed in the interview process about coaching James Harden, right?
Yeah.
So the Rockets were discussing players.
Yeah.
So allegedly the Rockets were discussing players on another roster.
Tampering? Well, are you suggesting
tampering? You said that. I didn't say that. I just said they were discussing players on another roster. Hey.
Hey, I've heard different things. I mean, because the initial scuttlebutt about James' return to the Rockets was in December. Who was it? Woj was the first person to bring it up. And I've heard that way back then, Daryl Morey was like, oh, hold up now.
Yeah.
James is a Philadelphia 76er. What is this? And Daryl's like, oh, no. Best believe I'm going to file a tampering case if this happens with them, because it was It was right around Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
It was big news.
It was right before Christmas, their Christmas Day game.
Right around New Year's, it was quiet. it was hush hush.
Mm-hmm.
As the playoffs, started and progressed, you started hearing more and more about it. Well, all signs point to James and the Rockets again, and it's down to Philly and Houston. As James is torn between Philly and Houston. But yeah, way back in December, because it was hot for a minute, and then it got cool real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say? Daryl Morey did not leave the Rockets. They can say all they want to, but it wasn't all peaches and cream between Daryl and the current regime. So who's to say Daryl won't? Oh, all right, James or Tillman, y'all go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna file. I'm gonna file and see what happens when y'all do that. So we shall see. I don't know. It's fun to me. When I saw it, I read Stein's tidbit. I was like, what the hell? What? Seriously, Mark? I was like, huh? Are you serious? This can't be. This is no. That's worse to me. Worse than the LeBron being traded to the Mavs. No. No. I mean, Lakers. If I'm the Lakers, you want LeBron? Okay, give us Luka. Dallas.
That's not even a conversation.
We're not even doing that. So I mean, come on. Come on. So it's fun. It's June. It's almost draft time. So it's more and more Lion season. It's fun to talk about. H-Town finally says leaking that news was mutually beneficial for both Harden and the Rockets if it wasn't for Philly. So, but it's fun. It's interesting to discuss it. It's good. And Marc Stein is not one for clickbait. That's not his thing. He hasn't been. He covered the Mavs for a lot of years. I think he still lives in the Dallas area, so he still has connections with the franchise. But it was just, it was an eye opener. Hell, Chris Haynes, when Chris reported about the LeBron Kyrie trade to Dallas, Haynes, come on,
what
Haynes.
that was.
Come on, Haynes.
Chris was in Cleveland. No, all right, come on.
I mean, come on. But hey, see now I had a viewer last night, and this is similar. He was high on James. James is great, best point guard in the league right now. Rockets to sign him, and I said, okay, all right. What's the contract you saying you want to give James? And his reply was 1 year. And I was like, okay, James ain't gonna sign for no 1 year coming to the Rockets. So I knew he had jokes. He was being funny. So, but it's out there. Time will tell. I'm kind of curious to see what James does because we've made the point. Yes, H-Town is home for him. Family's here. I think Jonathan Fagan wrote about a part of it today in the Chronicle. James comes here. Like Rockets not winning a championship anytime soon. Let's be real. That's not happening.
Nope.
So James, if you get that bag to come here, have you given up on winning the ring? What look with that? How would that look for you and your people? So, do you love H-Town that much? Do you want to take the money and give up on any chance of getting a ring? Do y'all agree with that? Is it that look if he does it that way?
Exactly what it looks like.
All right.
I agree 100%.
I got this for y'all. I got bazookaed. Last night, Saturday night. Will, it was as if my viewers gave me the gas face. All right, gave me the gas face.
MC search.
So much so, they said, Chris, you need to do this. Repeatedly, they said, do this. And it was merely my suggestion about what if or should the Rockets sign Dillon Brooks.
That makes better sense than Kyrie.
Will? Andy, what say you?
Yeah, that makes way more sense than Kyrie or Harden for that matter. Yes.
Why do you say it? Give more Come on, Will. Back me up. Come on.
A defensive three. Somebody that's going to play defense. A toughness that's going to bring something to that locker room. It might be, I don't want to say nice things. A little rough around the edges.
We're being very, very loose with that three, with the 3-point.
I tried it.
But
3-point shot has gone down. But go ahead, Andy.
Dillon Brooks, for me, he again, I don't see the fit with Houston. He's much more for him to go to a team that's on the cusp of a contending team where he doesn't.
Last night, Will. I got that.
Oh, okay.
And I tend to agree. Like, look at it in Rafael Stone's and in this case Tillman Fertitta's shoes. Do you really want to have Dillon Brooks around that locker room, especially coming off the playoffs and the way that all that unfolded, all the extra noise and really, I mean, it's just an example now. You could obviously, whenever you're talking through the free agency process, you can be talked about, hey, we'll do this, but you can't go around poking bears like he did in Memphis.
Well, see, one of the points, and I'll get you guys' thoughts on it. What if Dillon Brooks did all that, said all that because of the Memphis Grizzly culture? And if he comes to the Rockets with Coach Udoka, it's Coach Udoka's culture. He's laying law down and talking to him in the meetings and saying, hey, young fella, you don't have many more opportunities. Okay. You and all this fake toughness, whatever you and your brand and stuff you're trying to do, rather than be a basketball player, you come here, I expect you to focus on basketball, playing defense, being a good teammate. If you can't do that, then take your ass somewhere else. So how about that?
See, that's a great point. And I wanted to, I have a perfect sound effect for this segment that I was thinking about it all day and I was going to clip it and even upload it. I just didn't do it. It would work perfectly. So I'm going to see if I can get it within the next few minutes. But no, that's a great point. If maybe it is the Memphis culture, maybe it was just the environment that was created among the Grizzlies organization. Still, it would have a lot more credence to it if it's year 2, year 3 under Udoka. It's very well. I mean, if you're in the Rockets front office and you believe that much in Ime, go for it. But it's a little bit murky because it is in transition year. And heck, what if it's not the Grizzlies culture? And what if that's just who Brooks is? Then you're
clearly. And the Rockets, no team, in my opinion, should give Dillon Brooks. I mean, I'm like, H-Town's finest in this sense. It'd be a 2-year deal, second year team option, because he doesn't have a lot of leverage, Will. I mean, Memphis cut him. I mean, they said, be gone, young fella, be gone.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. So he's got to prove it. Yeah. He's got to prove it that he's learned his lesson, that he gets it, that it's time for him to be a basketball player and not a brand. Right. And he needs to look in the mirror and say, yo, do I want to be a ball player, make a great living, or be out of the league with the quickness if I keep doing dumb stuff?
Right.
If he doesn't get it, move on. You know, it's up to him to decide. I said it last night, I say it again. I had no problem with Detroit signing him, taking a chance on him.
Mm.
With what they're trying to do, because and it's a huge if, I get it. It's a huge if. But if he gets it and returns to being a basketball player and not a bear poker and not a brand person, somebody got a hard-nosed defensive guy who's willing to be physical, take on those challenges. Yeah, he got to resume being a good 3-point shooter.
Right.
That's part of his improvement. But if he does that, somebody got to steal. You know, it's one of those buy low, sell high kind of dudes. Hey, yeah. Because when he's right, he ain't been right for like 2 years now, but when he's right, defense, he gets after it. He guards the other team's best player. He likes it. He likes that challenge.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You know, he got to go to the right locker room. He has to be willing to listen.
And see, that's the thing. You said the right locker room. Who in that locker room besides Coach Udoka is going to be able to deal with that? Jalen Green?
Well, see, that's the thing. That Rockets don't have. I mean, if they bring in another vet, somebody he respects, or somebody on the staff, someone on the staff that he respects, you know, it's got to be a two-way street. Because I mean, first things first, he got to want to do it wherever he goes. He's got to, and you know, he ran from the media after LeBron just tore him a new one. Yep. He didn't want to, you know, own it up to it. So it's on him. He's got to do some soul searching. But if, and it's a massive if, I get it. It's a huge risk on his part. Not as big a risk on whatever team signs him. Because if it's a 2-year deal with a team option in the second year, yo, man, you be gone. You know, it don't work out, bye. After 1 year, after 4 months, bye. You know, because if it's a young team, they're still not at that playoff championship level because they could take the hit for 6-7 months and move on. True. So I'm okay with it.
Hey, if the Rockets sign Dillon Brooks,
it's a parade inside my city. Yeah, it's a parade inside my city. Yeah.
Houston City.
Wow.
Went there with that dude.
I'm not
on this show.
With all due respect and all real seriousness, when it comes to Dillon Brooks, I don't know about the fit. I don't know. Again, Houston, like your argument, Chris, it's valid, but I think it's much more something that you do after year one, after there's already an established culture under Udoka. So it's a team. The perfect fit for Brooks would be a team like the Miami Heat, where you can just go in there, kind of lay low, and buy into a culture that is established there, and there is a presence of multiple veterans and a clear-cut leader.
Well, you know, that's fair, because another option that was tossed out was Grant Williams instead of Dillon Brooks. Grant has the toughness. He's a bit more sane, but Grant Williams poked Jimmy Buckets. And Jimmy Buckets gave him the business, right?
Yeah, that was Grant Williams.
You know, he's way less. He's like Dillon Brooks light.
Yeah.
But Grant likes to talk a lot of junk too. And sometimes his game is not good enough to back it up either. You know, so, but what are your thoughts about Grant Williams as a Rocket? Willy Gibson?
Well, he's been mentioned in Cleveland as well. So, I mean, he's more of the 3 and defender with an actual 3-pointer than Dillon Brooks. Yeah, I mean he has the history of Udoka. So that's one of the things that a huge determining factor as well. I know the thing was earlier on, Jaylen Brown. Was that going to matter? But with him making all NBA, he's not leaving $100 million on the table.
He's not.
Period.
He's not. No,
that's not going to happen. No. So Grant Williams has the history of Udoka, restricted free agent. Houston. I mean, Boston has the right to match the deal, but if Houston, with their $60 million in cap space, has the creativity to structure the deal where it's less attractive for Boston to match it, makes sense. That makes sense, not Kyrie. Grant Williams makes sense.
And Boston. Go ahead, Andy, what are you going to say?
2 things. First, on Grant Williams, I think he would be much more, again, like Will said, because he has that year under Udoka. I think he'd be a much better piece to be able to fit in and try to establish that new culture, because, again, he was under Udoka for that year. He knows what kind of the vision is being able to play under a coach. Well, to play under Coach Udoka, it's much different than Brooks, and I think that fit, it's much more concise, it's much more clear than, I say, Brooks. And I also wanted to bring up H-Town's finest comment. Believe it or not, I didn't read your comment until I saw it right now. But I guess we're same line of thinking.
Got 2 questions. We'll get to them. Then we'll talk about the finals as well. Should the Rockets offer? They can offer Lakers gonna match.
Yeah, he's restricted. So
Lakers gonna match. You know,
yeah.
Austin Reaves and Rui Hachimura will be Lakers.
Yep.
I mean, even with Austin Reaves and the
Kyrie
Arenas, well, they're restricted, so they can match an offer.
Yep.
Even with Austin and the Gilbert Arenas rule. And if somebody gives, like the Rockets, for example, offers Austin in year 3 and 4, $25 million each season. Those last 2 years, where the first 2 are, or even more, whatever it is, where his contract averages out. First 2 years will be the league minimum, like league average of $11-12 million per. But the last 2 years could be $35 million each, where his contract total will be like 4 years, $95-100 million, whatever it is. So the average contract is $25 million per. Lakers can still match that. They cannot offer it, but they can match it. So if a team does that, I mean, they're just tying up their own cap room, you know.
Yep.
And Rui's a little different, but they're going to match. They like that. They like those two guys, part of their young core going forward, and I do too. So I mean, that was a good move. 2 good moves by Rob Pelinka to get those young men. And this one,
that's your guy.
yeah, I do. Cam Whitmore was in town working out at UH at the Guy V. Lewis Development Center as part of arrangement by his agent and sports agency. I forget who they are, but it's the same folks who represent Jarris Walker. So there's a connection there. And I think I took some heat from this last night too. I think Cam Whitmore would be a good fit for the Rockets at 4. The Piston fan in me hopes the Rockets don't select Cam Whitmore and he's available to Detroit at 5. But the objective media person in me thinks Cam Whitmore would be a good Rocket at 4. Yes. Your thoughts on Cam Whitmore as a Rocket at 4, either one of you?
I
agree, Chris, in terms of fit. Sorry, I kind of lagged out there for a second. I said I agree with fit, especially if Scoot Henderson is off the board by the time the Rockets are up to pick. I mean,
yeah, it looks like he's with Bill Duffy, BDA.
Okay.
Or BDA just sold to.
I want to say it's WM, something like that.
Is he with WME now? Yes, he is.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, all that. But Bill Duffy is the agent. Yeah. I mean 6'7", 235, can shoot, that would be the player at 4 for Houston. You put him alongside.
Doesn't pass. Well, didn't pass. Okay. Yeah. And the question has to be decided by the team that selects him. Is his 1 assist per game last year at Nova because he had strictly tunnel vision? He refused to pass. His teammates weren't good enough to make shots when he did pass? Or he just like, I'm going to get mine and forget it. Yep. So if that can be addressed, the skill set is there. Yes, I do like Cam's potential. NBA, especially front court, scoring over Amen Thompson. Yes. But it's 2 different guys, 2 different positions. I think Amen Thompson is more of a distributor, more backcourt, where Cam is more front court. But man, I mean, so, and I think I said it here. I don't know if I mentioned it on this show. I know I mentioned it on a Rocket show, that there are some folks, ESPN Jonathan Gavoni, suggested that Ausar Thompson, not Amen Thompson, is a better fit for the Rockets at 4. So, because of what Ausar can bring to the team and be a better fit, assuming if the Rockets go get James Harden. Because you get James Harden for your lead guard, you don't need Amen Thompson at 4. What's he going to do? because Amen Thompson is his role in the NBA will be as a lead guard, point guard, a distributor. Well, you got James Harden here for 2, 3, 4 years. Do you want to waste that young man's time here, sit on the bench?
No.
I'm going to say no. So we'll see. But yes. But there's also discussion about the Rockets, Detroit, trying to trade up, down, whatever. So I said it last night, I'm going to stick with it. 20th to the 22nd, I believe the Rockets are going to make some trades.
Okay.
So I don't know what they are. I'm not in the room. But draft day is the 22nd. Between the 20th and the 22nd, I believe the Rockets will make some trades. I think Detroit might as well. It might be draft night. Players not there they want. Let's move off whoever it is. Detroit, Rockets, whoever. All right. There's some folks who are consistent with this. Don't trust OTE. The competition level wasn't very good. Going against dudes who you were already better than. And the twins are 20. Cam Whitmore is 18. He'll be 19 in July, but still, he's younger than both of them. So that could factor into some folks.
Each time finals, I agree.
It's Lion season, as Brother Gibson says. Jake Fish from Yahoo Sports wrote, I guess it was Friday, that stock in Scoot Henderson he's dropping. And he won't go second. It'll be Brandon Miller at 2. He won't go 3. So if he's available at 4, Rocket fans get the guy who they want at 4 without having to move up. But is it valid that Scoot Henderson is dropping? Who knows? Because
No.
I don't like that he's dropping, because I think Brandon Miller was going to Charlotte anyway. So who's dropping and who's I? Who project?
Well, the folks who had Scoot as going to Charlotte at 2.
Exactly.
Those folks. Yeah.
Yes, he's not dropping. He's Brandon Miller.
All right, but if he falls past 3, is that dropping then? Because he was considered, him, Miller, and Wemby were considered the top 3 coming into this draft.
Yeah. All right. So Portland has 3, and Henderson's a point guard, right? Would you or
kind of? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lead guard. Yeah.
He's a lead guard,
a scoring guard. Yeah. Scoring point guard.
So Portland has 3, and he's a scoring point guard. Do they have that in Portland?
No, I don't think so. No, I'm
They
joking.
don't.
I'm joking.
So if he doesn't go 3, he's dropping. That's what I mean. It's like, I think they have a lead scoring guard in Portland for now.
It's
that's
all
a great
part
point.
of it.
It's a great point.
But with LaMelo Ball in Charlotte, is there a need for the Hornets to draft Scoot?
Who's the starting 3 in Charlotte?
It ain't Brandon Miller caliber,
That's yeah. So
but
if I already have the one, yeah, he's
what's the young man who is suspended for 10 games to start the year?
Miles Bridges.
They're probably
He
going to
won't be
re-sign
there.
In Charlotte.
I don't think he'll be there. I think they've had enough.
Well, we'll see. I think they might keep him, bring him back on a contract that is on their terms, But if they do that, he could play that 3 spot. Who knows?
And ho. Miles Bridges is a clutch sports guy. I'll just leave that there. He may find his way somewhere else. I'm just saying.
All right. And here, Dame should leave Portland. Yeah.
How long have we been saying that though?
For years.
Right. It's so.
And let's say this. Because I know he's on the podcast, and he said that in other teams that were or mentioned in the question to him where he'd like to go. And he said Miami was one of the teams. He said Miami and Brooklyn.
Miami and Brooklyn?
That's what he said. Yeah.
He did.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bam is his dog. I think he said Mikal Bridges is his dog.
I think Bridges is his dog too.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, and now we're going to shift gears and combine everything to the NBA Finals. Heat down 3-1 to the Nuggets. We think it's going to end Monday night in Denver. Nuggets get their first championship. Pat Riley loves to win championships. I mean, he's been part of 1/4 of the NBA Finals in his playing, coaching, and executive career.
Yeah, that's the GOAT. That's the GOAT stuff right there.
What would it take if you're Portland? Dame says, I want to go to Miami. He said that in the podcast, but I still think he wants to win in Portland. Damn, let's let it go, bro. Let's let it go. But Pat Riley calls up Portland and says, okay, let's have a discussion. What will it take for you to trade Dame to me? Who do you want in return if you're the Blazers?
Hold on. Can I say it before we get to that? Dame signs contract extensions every minute in Portland. Isn't he making like $65 million?
He will. I don't know when it kicks in, but eventually, yes.
Yeah. So is that so easy to trade?
Oh, heck no. That's why you got to ask for the moon. So, yeah.
Exactly. I don't know that. I won't say he's untradeable, but that contract, that's pretty doggone near. That's very difficult to trade. The same can't be done, but matching salaries and then the picks and then does Miami? Miami, what we've been talking about is in the finals. 7 undrafted players. Right. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Caleb Martin. Do they have the firepower to give Portland back comparable to them? They don't, to me. So, other than his dog, Bam and Jimmy. But he doesn't want to go there without those guys. So I don't think they have what it takes.
Andy?
Agreed. It's definitely a very, very interesting. Unless if you trade Bam, because you're not going to get rid of Jimmy Butler, you're the Miami Heat. There's not a good package. Obviously, it would have to involve draft picks and pick swaps, especially for the extended future. 5, 4, 6 years into the future with pick swaps and stuff of that nature. But ultimately, it comes down to Damian Lillard, because what's been shown time and time again, regardless of contract, if a star player wants out and they want to go to a specific place, which is an interesting question too. Does Damian Lillard? No, he does not.
Just Brad Beal. Only one league. No trade clauses. Bradley Beal.
So that's a different conversation from the Wizards, but I guess it does open the door more. There could be a bidding war where to say, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to be in Portland anymore. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, does Damian Lillard want to leave, and what's his list of teams? Because even if he doesn't have a no trade clause, it's very unlikely that Portland would end up sending him to a team that he has no interest in playing in.
And the Blazers, they should take the call from Riles, hypothetical, and then say, okay, we want Bam, Tyler Hero, I don't know about that. I'm good with those two.
I'm trying to match money at this point.
Well, we start right there. Well, first, Pat, we want Bam. No, not happening. Okay, hang up then, Pat, because we're done. Because then that's where it would start for me if I'm Portland. So if you don't want that, don't waste my time with the call. Because, you get 3 first-round picks. No. I want Bam Adebayo. Well, no, we want him as part of the big 3 here in Miami. Well, then you don't want Dame then. So, yeah. So that's where it is. But the Nuggets, the 2 wins they got in Miami, where you mentioned it, excuse me, about the undrafted guys, the development guys. The finals or games 3 and 4, because the series is not over, But games 3 and 4 showed the limitations of those guys.
Yep.
Okay, it took to get to the finals because Boston messed around and played like trash, played dumb, poor basketball, whatever. Yanez was banged up. The Bucks played just baffling basketball too. But, and I'm not hating on Miami. It's not their fault that their opponents did not do their part, did not play up to their capabilities. Miami said, thank you. We're going to keep winning until you beat us. In games 3 and 4 of the finals, the Nuggets said, we're better than you. We're going to prove it and show you that you need talent as well as grit, grind, toughness. Miami, salute them. You know, Gabe, Caleb, all these dudes are tough, hard-nosed players. Those are the kind of guys that if I was 6'5", who I'd probably beat. You know, I'm not a great athlete. I get things done just by busting my butt, working harder than everybody else. But if you run into a team that has guys who can do that and who are more talented than you, I'm going to lose more times than I'm going to win. So with that mindset, what does Pat Riley do? Max Strus. Could it be a Rocket? Andy?
Oh, is he a free agent?
Yep.
He could.
Does he fit?
He can shoot and he could play defense and you could fill him in.
Will?
Can Max Strus be a Rocket? Sure, why not? Gabe Vincent can be a Laker.
Will got all these guys going to Lakers. Man, you got like a 20-man roster for the Lakers, Will.
I know, right? I rock with the kid from Akron. I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
Let's see here. Gabe Vincent for sure. But yeah, well, I mean, what do you... Gabe Vincent, is he an upgrade for the Rockets?
Help me. Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as opposed to the reserves that they had throughout the course of the season, I think he's shown, from what he has shown in the postseason, definitely, yes.
Yeah, Max is an unrestricted free agent. He and Gabe are unrestricted. Just like the OG, old man, Udonis Haslem. Who I hope he finally retires. This OG. Go to the front office, man. Go to the front office, man. Go ahead. Move to the front office. Come on. Let's see.
Seriously, about Gabe Vincent. With KPJ and Jalen Green, why are the point guard free agent talk with the Rockets? Because I don't. You have a young upcoming team, but we've talked about James Harden. We've talked about Kyrie Irving. Now we're talking Gabe Vincent. I don't know to help me.
KPJ is not his point guard is not his best position.
Sure.
That's why. So if the Rockets can upgrade the point guard spot and move him off the ball, be more of catch and shooter, that's the thought process behind it.
Fair enough.
Boston, Dame for Boston, similar to Boston. If I'm Portland, I want Jaylen Brown. Period. No, yeah. Oh, no, you can't have him. Okay, then hang up. Yep. That's what Portland should do. Okay, I don't know if they will. But, you know, Dame, his extension kicks in, I think, in 25. I think, not this coming season, where he makes $60 million per for two more years. Bless him, boy. Bless him and his agent. Good on him.
Bless him.
Man, but okay. Anybody on here watching, Twitter, YouTube, believe that Miami will win Game 5 to force a game back in Miami on Thursday for Game 6?
Nope.
Andy?
I don't believe it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Alan, well, you know, Tran said yes, he had Miami winning the series, I think in 7, so he's kind of shaky right now. Jay the Informant says yes. All right. We'll see about that. I think you're wrong, but I'm glad you're putting it out there. Thank you for chiming in the comment. Appreciate it. We shall see. And I'm not saying, see, He's reminding us that he said Heat in 7.
Yeah.
Salute there. Okay. These final few moments, I'm going to poke fun at the whole saga surrounding the Pac-12. What in the hell? You got presidents now coming out. We haven't seen the numbers yet. We got writers saying who cover the Pac-12. The grant, they verbally agreed to a grant of rights. Right there. I just said two things. They verbally agreed to a grant of rights, yet they have not seen the hard numbers.
So have they agreed to the?
So what have they agreed to?
Right. Yeah.
You know, come on. Seriously, things like this make me question the writers' accuracy. Because, I mean, in sports sometimes, you know, common sense is not always common. But honestly, what if you're Oregon, especially the two remaining cash cows for football in the Pac-12 are Oregon and Washington? Why would they agree to a grant of rights tying them to the Pac-12 for hell, anything beyond a year, honestly, but 2, 3, 4, 5 years? First, just because of that, why would they do that if they still hold out hope of getting to the Big Ten in some point? But 2, agree to it if they have not seen any numbers.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Let me say this about Oregon and Washington going to the Big Ten. I still hold my stance that Big Ten is not going to go beyond the 16 that they have. If they were to expand beyond the 16, it wouldn't be Oregon and Washington. It would be Stanford and Cal.
Because?
The AAU.
I thought you were going to go east. Go to Florida. I thought you were going to go east and go to Florida.
No. Because Stanford and Cal have been in the discussion for a while. They were in the discussion with UCLA and USC. But at the time, they only wanted 2.
Right.
And the discussion was if they were to go beyond 2 and bring it 4, because now the discussion is a pod, because you're looking at that football viewership. That 10:30 game, you only have 2 teams on the West Coast.
Right.
So you're looking at bringing a couple more teams to create a pod where you're not have, because the numbers just came out. They just released the 24 and 25 schedules on Thursday for the Big Ten. And the airline, the mileage that you have teams going east to west is wild. And so the thought process was, okay, if we bring in 2 other teams out west, that would cut the travel somewhat, but it wouldn't be the Oregon and Oregon and Washington. It would be the Stanford and the Cal, because now you're looking at the other sports. Yes, football is a starter stirs the drink without question, but you look at women's basketball, Stanford. You look at the non-revenue sports at those universities. Those things matter.
Bless you for saying Stanford, considering them, and mentioning women's basketball. Bless you, Willy Gibson. Bless you.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, it's not the men. Jared Hass, but okay.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. That would be the draw. That would be the attraction. So that's just something, to look out for. Yeah, Oregon and Washington are the sexy names. They are. But Phil Knight's money does spend, absolutely. But I wouldn't sleep on Stanford and Cal. If I still think they're staying at 16. However, let me say that.
Sure, but timetable wise, within 5 years, would you feel more confident that the Big Ten will expand again?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yep. And Cameron Brink is Steph is Cameron Brink's godfather. Yes. Because Cameron Brink's mom was college roommates with Mama Curry. Whew, boy. That's a whole other story right there. But anyway, so yes. Andy, your thoughts on what Will said about Big Ten expanding with Stanford and Cal? Because I was thinking now with Miami going AAU, earning that at some point in the future, the U might be part of the Big Ten 10 years from now, whatever, or 13, whatever. Andy, what say you?
In that scenario that Willie just mentioned with Stanford and Cal, man, I wonder what in the world would Oregon and Washington do in that scenario.
Phil Knight would just cry.
But would they stay with the Pac and whatever's left of that? Would they call Brett Yormark?
In that scenario, that would probably be the worst case scenario for Oregon if that happened. If the Big Ten invited Stanford and Cal instead of Oregon and Washington, yes. In that worst case scenario, because is Oregon going to hold out for the SEC hope that they invite them? That's unlikely. So Brett Yormark might. Clearly Brett Yormark would love that. Oh, yeah. Because that would be the legitimate expansion to the 4 time zones of getting that Pacific time zone. Because Arizona, they don't really observe daylight saving time.
That Arizona does not.
So technically, when the clocks change, they do play the late start, but that's not really it's not the Pacific time zone. They don't observe daylight saving time. So, but Colorado, I still think they're going to join the Big 12. It's just when the Pac-12 supposedly, what's it been? How many times have we heard it? 2 weeks?
It started since January, Chris.
2 weeks. So it's been 2 more. Now it's 2 more weeks that we're going to hear the numbers for the Pac-12. But I'm curious, your thoughts on this. Why the animosity between the fans of the Big 12 and the fans of the Pac-12? These folks are taking shots at each other. And I'm like, why are you so upset at Pac-12 or the Big 12 or whatever? What have they done to y'all? Kind of thing. Well, what do you say?
It's that big brother, little brother syndrome, where they both think they're the big brother. Pac-12, we're West Coast, where, Big 12 is, we've always had, Texas, we're Texas, and it's that big brother, little brother syndrome. Mm-hmm. And so, and now, granted, fanatic is short for fanatic.
Yes.
We all know that. So to hear it's like, we get after it. Okay. But it's that I'm probably gonna get in trouble because I've said this before, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble saying this. But it's always the individuals that have the least amount of connection to the athletic program. I'm trying to say that nicely.
Yeah.
That get into the they get the heart rates pumping the most, and it's like, come on. It's at the end of the day. Let's keep it civil. Let's keep it civil. It's like, it's great to root for your conference. Yeah, my team, this team, my team. But like you said, Chris, some of the stuff we see is like, wow. Yeah. I'll stop there.
And the latest thing was the report by College AD that reported that Brett Yormark and his delegation had visited Memphis to discuss, to look at the campus, look at things about possibly down the line inviting Memphis to join the Big 12.
Heard he shot that down quick.
Brett Yormark said, I've not been to Memphis. There's not been a delegation to Memphis. Ouch. So I wondered.
On campus,
I wondered. I've seen Andre Ward, retired boxer, SOG, Andre Ward. He signed with Rock Nation. There is a documentary of him on Showtime. In the documentary, Brett Yormark's brother, because they're twins, identical twins, both were at Rock Nation. And I can't think of his first name. But I heard his voice, because I was not looking, but I heard his voice. And I was like, oh, that's Brett Yormark. Talking about Andre Ward joining Rock Nation. And I looked up, oh, no, that's Brett's brother. So I was like being cynical. I wonder if Brett's brother was in Memphis, just looking around. And they got it confused and thought it was, but it's a bad look, man. If it's legit, because, it could be some smoke there. And maybe it was somebody with the Big 12, but not part of the delegation, who was in Memphis just doing a little recon. So Brett Yormark could be telling the truth because it wasn't him, but it was somebody representing him. What if that was the case? But Memphis fans were hyped. They were hyped for like 24 hours. Oh, nope, we're not going to Big 12. Oh, damn. So we can't give Houston grief, but y'all still can. Y'all not just won't be in the Big 12 right now, because at some point they might. But they're not on the list. I think Big 12's list still for invitation: Colorado, Arizona, Gonzaga, and UConn. We'll see how it all plays out. If Colorado decides to stay in the Pac-12, if the numbers, whenever they come out, if it's this week, 2 weeks, 2 more weeks, whenever it is,
the end of the year,
Colorado decides, no, we're good, we're going to stay where we are. Well, Brett Yormark will move on. Go down his list. And we'll see who's next. And then at some point, UConn says, yeah, we're going to do it. I mean, then last thing. Power 5 programs, Autonomy 5, Mr. Commissioner Michael Resco, Autonomy 5 programs will receive the same rate pro rata deal from the Big 12 media partners. Non-Autonomy 5 schools won't receive the same as the Big 12 members. Andy, you cover the Cougs. There had been a report last week. Will you get your thoughts on it? That I think it was Barry Trammell from the Oklahoman, said that Brett Yormark was getting some resistance on the Zags and UConn to the Big 12 because it'd be splitting the pie. It wouldn't be equal shares for them. So why would you split the pie? Then the basketball coaches for the Big 12 said, oh, no, we're good with UConn and the Zags being in conference. Who's telling the truth? Will, Andy? Who do you believe?
Andy, I defer.
I'm trying to look at it from a coach's perspective, and adding UConn and Gonzaga seems like something that, from a fan perspective, you would love. From the coaches, I think you would. It depends on who the coach is, but do you really want to add more competition? If the coaches said it, I'm torn, but I'm gonna lean towards the coaches were right.
Well, I could see it from
both ways.
The basketball coaches would love it because it further strengthens Big 12 men's basketball. The football coaches, hell, Gonzaga doesn't have a football team. So why are you bringing them in? UConn's football team is not good, but they were good. How long ago was it? I mean, they went to the Orange Bowl, right? When they were
12,
in the Big
15
East.
years ago, maybe.
So, but they were good. If they have money from a new deal, media rights deal from the Big 12, and invested in football, maybe they could get good again and be competitive. I mean, because for a long time, folks laughed at the Big Ten adding Rutgers. Rutgers football was garbage. I mean, just
was.
Well, it's gotten less stinky.
Okay.
Okay. So if UConn football got less stinky, would that be good enough? I mean, because they're in the Northeast. That Northeast market. That's the main reason why Rutgers was got invited to the Big Ten was the Northeast market.
Only reason.
So Big 12 does the same thing for UConn. So I'm just, because UConn would be invited as a full sports member, not just basketball. And I think I'm kind of surprised, but it sounds like the Zags would as well for all sports too. Even though they don't have football. So that's kind of strange, but we'll see how it all plays out. I just want the Pac-12 stuff to be resolved soon. I care about basketball more than football. So whenever it's resolved, let me know how it impacts the basketball teams. Because, of course, the last thing, the Pac-12 agreed to unequal revenue sharing. For football specifically, if you advance to the CFP, you get a larger share. But there's no unequal revenue sharing for basketball. Well, Andy, if you're Arizona men's hoops, what? Hold up. Men's basketball, now UCLA is leaving. We're the best team in the conference.
Yep.
So we're not going to get a larger share of our units if we advance to the Final Four. But the football team in Oregon or whatever hell receives larger share because they get that CFP. Oh, no. I'm not good with that.
Yep.
Andy, do you agree with that mindset possibility from Arizona?
Definitely. If you're gonna kind of be favorable to one university, even if it's at a different sport, you set the precedent, you set the standard, and you're certainly gonna be feeling some type of way when it doesn't benefit you.
So, time will tell. I just want a resolution, one way or the other, because some of these folks on Twitter, some of the media folks, I've lost respect for. Because some of us, are y'all thinking when y'all write this stuff? Come on, what are you gonna say, Will?
I was gonna say I'm never one. I'm not called for people's job guy. I'm not. But I have a strong feeling that this Pac-12 piece is gonna end with George Kliavkoff leaving.
But will he leave with the deal?
That's
done?
The thing. That's however it happens, I don't know that at the end of this he'll be the commissioner of the Pac-12. I don't know. But for as long as it's been taking, they may just get to the point like, you know what? I don't think you're ever going to get it done. Or they may wait for him to get it done because I don't know how far down the road he is. And is it counterproductive to bring somebody else in and start from square one? I don't know. But I just think the way this has been handled on all sides, I don't know that he survives this. And like I said, I'm not called for anybody's job guy, but I don't see this ending well for him.
Well, he wasn't the guy that made the deal or looked the other way with the Comcast part of it, where they now owe $70 million, not 50, yeah. $70 million. So they got
Larry Scott.
Factor that into it. Larry Scott. Has there been a commissioner worse than Larry Scott? I mean, man, awful. But the Pac-12 presidents are to blame for keeping him as long as they did and looking the other way for the rent. I mean, just a whole bunch of things were horrible, wrong decisions he made, and they just kept him in there and kept allowing him to burn the bridge behind him as he walked forward, So we'll see. All right, everybody. Thank you very much, Andy, Mr. Tran, Jamon, Jay. What's Jay? The Informant. Thank you, folks watching us on Twitter at Folks Talk Sports, and of course on YouTube. Will, Andy, get you a mug, a Houston Roundball Review mug. Get that mug. Got mine. I think we're going to have an order from New Zealand. Going to get a mug. So thank you for that. Global, Will, Andy Global. Andy, how can folks find you on social media?
Yes, sir. They can follow me on Twitter at Yanez_5. Nuggets in 5. They close it out tomorrow night in Denver altitude. Congratulations to the Nuggets. Already calling it.
Well, are you guaranteeing it, Andy? He froze up on me.
Uh-oh.
All right, Will. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
How about you? How can folks find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as well as Instagram at Willy Gibson 7. And I'm not guaranteeing it, but I have a strong feeling that Denver does close it out in Game 5 on Monday night.
Well, I said, let's see.
I said Denver in 5 at the beginning.
Right,
too.
you did.
Yep.
My mentor, I was a guest on his show. I said Nuggets in 5. I was invited on another mentor's, made a TV appearance Wednesday morning. We were chopping it up. I said Nuggets in 5. And that was when it was 1-1. So I'm guaranteeing it.
Guarantee.
Yep. Nuggets will get it done. I know it's the hardest. The closeout game is the hardest. I understand that. That's the cliche. That's what Miami is leaning on. What else are they going to say? The better team, the Nuggets, we said it last week. If the Nuggets play their A game, he plays their A game, the Nuggets will still win.
And think about how close Denver was to sweeping them. Honestly, if it wasn't for the beginning, those 3 minutes of that fourth quarter in game 2.
And they played their C game in game 2 and still had a chance to win. Well, send it overtime with a great comeback.
You're right.
If they play their B+ game and above, they win tomorrow. We win tonight and cut down the Nets. So, yep, I'm guaranteeing it. Thank you, everybody. I am Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Twitter, the HR Review. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, Houston Roundball Review. This has been fun discussing the Kyrie rumors, laughing at the Kyrie rumors, James Harden, all those things.
Not even close.
See you guys next Sunday.
Denver.
It's Thursday. Lunch break. Should have a special guest, a first-time guest. Tune in for the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break. Thursday, 12 to 1 Central, 1 to 2 Eastern. Let me know. Andy's got a job. He can't make it. So salute to him on the new gig. Everybody, thank you as always. See you next Sunday or see you this Thursday or this Saturday talking Rockets. All on the Houston Roundball Review. And of course, remember, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Take care. Peace.